a 15-minute video for political reaction. Then tomorrow we can pick up a longer one, just so as to maintain the 2 videos a day. So of course there is a lot of bullying that is happening between Rigathi Gachagua and RUTo. The new year as it pulls in. Of course, this is as a result of the 207 approach that is coming. And why is this happening? It's happening because the platforms are open for politicians, and all churches are also, the doors are quite open, and most Kenyans are ready to listen. They are ready to hear things here and there. Now, already January has started and parents are feeling the pain of fees. So what do you expect? Of course, they'll be listening more to Rigathi Gachagua, because Rigathi, even though some people will talk about impeachment and the fact that he was still in government, but in Kenya, people forget about what you were and they remember what you are now, okay? So that is something people should remember, because we don't keep history so much in Kenya. We walk ahead with the past, and we go to the present. Now, remember the time Uhuru Kenyatta was in office. Would you imagine that he would actually come back to the citizens and be listened? Surprisingly, I got, so mesmerized that recently, while Uhuru Kenyatta was speaking in a funeral at Gakuya's place, people are ready to listen. He went to Cyrus Jirongo's place, spoke, and people are ready to listen and even celebrate. He was even in another meeting and spoke, and people listened. So Kenya is a very funny country. People only recall about the bad moments as a leader when you are there. But once you walk away, they forget so fast. I don't know whether it's amnesia, I can't tell. But that's the reality. Now, of course, as much as RUTo will want to defend himself with the roads, the markets, and what have you, people will remember so much about the current problems they are going through, especially if this year a child will drop out of school or fail to sit for the exam, or maybe a parent will actually sell land because of paying fees. They'll not forget the moments the president made them go through by reducing the amount of contributions that was coming to schools in form of capitation. Of course, remember, all schools in grade 10 have decided to change uniforms. Even if you know the current uniform of the school, that is not going to be the same uniform for the grade 10. It will be a different uniform. That means also the hiking of prices. The prices might not be the same as what was being sold for the previous classes. And so if you are a parent of a child who is in Form 3 or Form 4, and you compare to what is happening in grade 10, you will be so bitter about the current government. Now, mark you, even if you are using roads to go to those schools, the painful moment comes when you are being told to pay fees. And of course, most schools will take advantage. Not having enrolled last year students, they'll want 100% collection of term 1 fees, okay? Now, in some situations, we will have even tricky moments, because students have been placed in schools where parents don't want them to be. So, of course, you understand the engagement that comes around this, okay? Now, this is giving an opportunity for Rigathi Gachagua to actually banker the president and remind him that Singapore is neither here or not there, which we might agree, okay? Leon Salano, welcome. Thank you so much for showing up. We might actually agree, most of us. Why? Because if we are struggling to pay fees, because the capitation has been reduced for both high school and university students, okay, because you understand the financing of students in the university was trying to pick details of parents, and if parents are working, then the lesser the amount they get, okay. So when you add up that, and then now come to SHA. Of course, SHA is a good universal care if it is in a country where people are able to manage that and actually have it running fast. But from my small experience, when you are working with SHA, and you go on to pay, actually to receive that money, the problem that is happening is that you take a long time to queue. They want the systems to open, they want the messages to be delivered, they want a lot of processes to go through before you are treated, okay. Leon Salano is asking, you do know a lot about politics. Of course, it is my daily bread. Currently, I do listen and watch a lot of politics that is happening. And so it becomes something that I talk about freely. So Rigathi Gachagua has now come out to stand out. Whether he was actually impeached or not, we have forgotten about his sins. Even if I ask somebody to tell me why he was impeached, maybe some people will just say that he's tribal. But then even some people are now coming out on social media and asking, if Rigathi Gachagua is tribal, what does it mean by being tribal anyway? And they are coming out to say, yeah, even though our president says he's tribal, what about him? How many people has he secured jobs for? Like CEOs, let's say directors, ambassadors, who are from his, community. Just few people will say that you are tribal by what you say. But there are those who go to an extra mile and check on what you do. We are tribal in our actions and in our verbal communications. Who is worse? Is it whoever is communicating or who is acting? I don't know. Maybe you can have the answer for me. So let's get to see something here from Rigathi Gachagua. How is he bullying the president? I want us to listen to something right here. And from there, you can make a conclusion based on what you are hearing right here. All right. Whoever will be watching will be surprised. I don't know entirely Kikuyu, but I've stayed with them and I know some of it. I stayed in Kiambu for some time. I also have a lot of friends we are trying to invest with in Kitengela who are Kikuyu, so I normally get updated from their end. So actually what Rigathi Gachagua was trying to do here, he was wiping the floor with RUTo. Telling people that RUTo is a murderer of Kenyan children and is a thief, a mistake that should be corrected, that jail is waiting for him, and once jail is waiting for him, the keys should be thrown away. So as the chief injector, we saw that in this video that I've just shown you, Rigathi Gachagua was trying to do a proper injection on and making Kenyans understand that Kasongo has failed big time. And of course, while some will not agree, a lot of people will agree with this. Why? Because the economies are biting people very hard. Whether you are an external investor, internal investor, a civil servant, unless you directly are employed by him in his office, maybe in his home, you might not feel it. Or maybe if you got a job because of him recently, letters that were thrown here and there. But for somebody who was just at work, you might not reject what Rigathi is saying here. So Gachagua is actually coming out to look like a Kenyan leader to some people, regardless of the impeachment that happened recently. And we saw the readings of about 6 counts that led to his impeachment, one of them being the aspect that he was trying to be tribal, he was trying to talk about shares and all that. But they found others that were not successful, such things as corruption and what have you. Of course, this guy is dominating the internet. And from whatever he's saying, some people will internalize it and buy it. Of course, he's an injector. He's much like Panadol to some people, maybe as he says that. And remember, he's trying to engage people to understand that Singapore is a lie. That Singapore is a lie, first world is a lie, more fire and all that, okay? And he's trying to make it sound like, okay, is this what you want? Is this what you get? And then citizens say no. No. Now, looking at that, of course, the analysis that was done in Kenya about our economic growth showed that as far as the president is claiming that we have improved in terms of, he talked about bonds, he talked about dollar, he talked about the price of what? The money market. Those things are hallucination and dreams to most people. The law people don't understand that ideology at all because they don't engage in that business. That business is being done by rich people. Bye-bye. Okay, so for real, the story of Singapore is actually dying because now it's becoming a joke when most people look at it, but you wake up, go sell products, you don't sell them. You go actually try to do much and make it better, it doesn't actually work, okay? So people are wondering, with a lot of theft happening, corruption, will we really have Singapore happening? That is a question I also pose to you. And that is why Rigiji is actually trending, and the dreams that are being shown become more of fantasies than valid, okay? Few people say it is valid, that this dream is becoming more of a fantasy because people are looking back. Now Rigiji is reminding them, do you remember of the bottom-up economy? Did the money not disappear from our pockets instead of coming in? So it's so easy for Kenyans to actually listen to Gachagua than even the president. And some may listen to him just for fun, but the reality is, if you look at Sifuna also bangering him, then you look at maybe Hamisi, Babu, then the narrative would become something very different. Then we see the controversies in health. We see the controversies in other areas. Then it becomes weighty that Gachagua is gutting the guts of the president down all a while. Let's listen for some minutes, then we go back to something else and finish.
Wacha nione watu ya DCP, watu ya DCP, watu ya DCP.
All right, so that is how much this guy is trying to sell his party. Anyway, let's get to a different story so that we can finish our discussion. And this is on something else. Of course, we are looking at the roads, guys. So recently, you remember the president reminded Lonzo Musyoka to go and do something about the roads in his home before he can talk about being a president. And it hit back because somebody went to collect some information about the roads in Uasin Gishu and found that there were roads which were very poor. And of course, another one has gone to Nyanza and collected some data about the roads at Millie Odhiambo's place. Let's look at it briefly as we come to an end of our discussion today because it's already late. I need to rest.
Stuttering and stammering at the age of 50-something. Number two, some of our Luo friends. Kwa Millie Odhiambo inaanzia hapa mbele. Karibu na Victoria Sands. Hapa ndo kwa Millie Odhiambo inaanzia. Cheki, na bado wanasema nini? Wasina pigani nduru bana. Mko na CS. Mulisikia Sifuna alisema kikapu ya treasury inalala Sindo. Sindo barabara ya Sindo. Sindo barabara. Sasa kwa mili ya gambo inaanzia hapa. Mwenye alikuwa anapingana. Unaona? Hii ndio wanasemanga, hii ndio mpaka. Sasa karoli yake inaishia hapa. Unaona? Hii ndio wanasemanga, hii ndio mpaka imegawa kwa Karoli na kwa Millie Odhiambo. Sasa hii hapa hivi sasa tunaingia kwa Millie Odhiambo. Haya, mwenye alikuwa anasema timu Odhiambo. Instead of building roads, guess what they're doing?
Oh my God, these are political times. So of course, David Wafula makes it to bring this information in a very fantastic way.
Results. Not my words, just listening to the locals once again. Sasa ukitaka kujua huyu jamaa politician ni ignorant sana. Unaona? Inasemekana, but siko sure, lakini inasemekana hii ndio resort ya Ng'ong'o Mbadi. Hii ndio Bayside. Hii ndio amefungua juzi. Unaona? Na barabara yenyewe ni anakuwa hapa every.
All right, so you can see those dramatic moments and ironies that are happening in Kenya. Politicians going about to invest their money in resorts, hotels, just like it is also for our president, who is ready to build resorts even in the conservation parks and all those places, regardless of the fact that it might not be safe for tourism, as animals might migrate, and also allowing Kenyans to go in Arabic lands without securing their safety, just because he said a lot of money is being collected every year on that. Now, when you look at that, then it becomes ironical that our leaders are selfish and self-driven. They don't care about the welfare of the citizens. You can use those dirty roads as much as you can. After all, they'll fly with their planes and land where they have to. Or if they use vehicles, their vehicles are four-wheel. So even if you have a two-wheel or a motorbike or two-leg, that is Kanyaga Mguu Twende KMT, then you can struggle on your own. But for them, they don't give a damn. So as you prepare for election 2027, just be wise, as whatever leaders you pick are the ones who decide your fate, whether to build resorts or roads, whether to actually do better for the community or for themselves. Otherwise, bye-bye for now. I hope at least the 18-minute video has covered my day in political reaction. Let's meet again another time. I appreciate you guys who have been subscribing. We have now moved to from 3,300 subscribers to 3,340. And I hope very soon we'll be growing more and more. Bye-bye for now.